My dad was a dope dude. My mom's a dope individual as well. Um, there's not as I become a parent, it began to humble my perspective of my parents. You know what I'm saying? My dad did a lot of good things, and he did a lot of things right, and he also did a lot of things wrong. And people that reverence him won't hear about that. You know what I'm saying? But he was y'all friend. He was my father. You know what I'm saying? Y'all was around him. I lived with him, and I feel like you do often consume what you project, and you also a product of your environment. That mean if you're gonna give him credit for the good things, you gotta also give him credit for the bad things. Um, there were things that have been broken me that are still being fixed due to my dad wanting the best for me. And a lot of times there were things I said that harmed the child that walked into my adulthood. So I had to start unseeing it. And for a long time, there was so much anger towards that brother because I know he wanted the best for me. Um, a lot of times, his expectation of me got in front of his patience. It really did. And and I'm able to talk about it now because we was able to bury the hatchet before he died. But in the midst of that, it was chaos. I hated that dude. I hated him. I hated his friends because in the midst of his frustration, there was a perspective of me that never really got rectified due to how he felt in those moments. I mean, he can come back and apologize to me, but that perspective out there of who I am to you is with people now. You know what I'm saying? So it made me have beef with his friends. Like I don't care to know them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just being transparent. Um, because there was a dark moments where I may have needed some outside perspective of who he was because of how I viewed him. And thank God that that was also still the man of God. So it did change. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you don't need people taking sides. You need people to also be objective. You know what I mean? And I was treated harshly. Yeah. I was treated harshly. Did a lot of things being a kid. You know what I'm saying? And I was everything but hurting. And there's just a lot of things that just wasn't rectified. I don't and there's certain family members I don't care to talk to because, you know, when you are deemed incompetent, like you can't think for yourself, there's just a lot of things. And I went through a lot as a kid that I wasn't protected from. And they was like, man, what's wrong with him? So you can have the best parent. It doesn't exempt you from adversity. It doesn't exempt you from pain. You know what I'm saying? Most people are like, man, at least you had a dad. Yeah, I had a dad. And sometimes I thought that nigga was a jerk. You know what I'm saying? Because this man had a lot going on. And when you're sick, it alters how you move, how you deal with people. Also, me getting sick, it helped me even understand where his mind was at. So you talk about humbling moments, especially when you want to do right, and then you consume with so much wrong. When you know you and really had a real experience with God, fam, you can't sit and be the way that you've always moved. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't strive to be more than what you are, you can always be who you are. You'll never be more than what you are. And now that I know that, I'm grateful for having a father to set the standard. You know what I mean? Flaws and all. You know what I mean? But it just I strive to not be like him and uh as time progressed I realized I'm more like him than than what I thought. And I have some traits of my mom too. You know what I mean? But just a lot of stuff that I wasn't rescued from. And I thank God that I knew God for myself, that my perspective didn't eat me alive. I really appreciate my dad being those lessons because now, as a father, I gotta be the lessons he taught and didn't teach. Doesn't exempt me from pain. The memories are still there, but I got a lot of good with my dad because there's a lot of things I should have been hung for that I was spared for. But for a man to be like, and I didn't know everything, and I admit I was wrong about these things, you know, it was able to open up my heart. And maybe God know I needed that before that man passed out, because passed away, because I probably still been in these streets, doing stuff. You know what I mean? Because you can be raised right, don't mean you're not gonna go through the wrong to find the right. People always have an image of what they think you should be and totally miss who you are because they view you through a certain lens. I'm like, well, I'm gonna always have these lenses because this is my life. I don't care how you view it. This is Anthony Gray. It's not your life, and you always got a front seat. You're gonna always have a perspective. You'll never know what it is, and truthfully, I'm still finding out what it is. All I know is that I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my mom, though there's a distance in that, and that's never really learned a lot. You know what I mean? But I'm learning. You know what I'm saying? And I thank God for my dad. The beatings came with wisdom. You know what I'm saying? But the key was understanding. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a lot of hatred for that dude. You know what I'm saying? Without trying to smut him. You have differences with your parents. Your perspective is always gonna clash, especially when you have expectations of each other. You know what I mean? But that man hurt me for sure. You know what I mean? And for him to be man enough to know that he's like, man, he was also young. You know what I'm saying? Just a lot of things. I had to really operate in grace. You know what I mean? Because grace was shown to me. You know what I'm saying? Just been figuring it out a lot. But people will look over your hurt due to who the person was and be like, nah, fam, it's never the smother, brother. But he did some things wrong. And because of that, I acted out, I lashed it out, did just a lot of things. A lot of things. You know what I mean? But it'll never tarnish his memory because that's really the man of God. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't make you not flawed. And I think that's when um, perspectives kind of like accumulate when you really think or got an idea that these people are exempt from struggling. It's what brings the disappointment because of the expectation. My dad was not just my dad; he was a human. He was human, and he wasn't always a believer. He was human. And once I understood that, it got easier to love him because I wanted more understanding than I wanted to be understood. And for those who are still dealing with people, in their life or parents like that, it took a long time to stop fighting with this ghost that I'm not the things that he said. Because when he sent me, though it looked like I'm in lack, God sent me complete. And now it's my job to move that way. It's my job to teach my baby that way. But I avoid friendships that make me look like or make me feel that I'm less than. I want to be around things that know that I'm the more. And I'm going to be around more so we can make more. Dad, I love you. Mom, I love you. And this is more so of a healed mind state than a pity resume that I didn't even know I was still writing.